Andy, what's happening? Welcome back to another edition of Money Making Mondays with yours truly, Angie Ann's checking in. You know, right when I get off the Morning Hustle show, man, it's all about Stock Snoops. If you haven't already subscribed to our weekly newsletter, go to stocksnoops.com for all you new investors or even the experienced investor, man. What's most important is that you're an informed investor, and that's what we try to do is inform you on what's going on, break it down, provide resources and information that'll be useful to you in your investment endeavors. Now, I have the co-founder of Stock Snoops with me. She also happens to be my sister, and she's an avid investor in everything in the stock game, from mutual funds, ETFs, individual stocks, you name it, she's on it. Adrienne is here. She's back at it again. Good morning to you.
Good morning, good evening, good night, everyone.
Now, today, as you notice, I have my Baby Yoda shirt on because today we're talking about sports betting in space. Okay, these are two hot topics on the stock market. So let's start with sports betting. Okay, after the recent elections, there were a lot of states that legalized sports betting. Virginia happens to be one of them, and you're starting to see companies like DraftKings, FanDuel really picking up steam. So, and I told you about DraftKings. I was seeing a little talk about them prior to the elections. I told you about it. You were doing some research. You jumped in, and you've been seeing some really strong gains. So let's talk a little bit about the sports betting space on the stock market.
Okay. Well, yes, DraftKings. I looked at their numbers. I looked at their potential. I looked at the fact that, yes, this is, again, an emerging market that has a legalization rolling out across the country. So I saw it as a great opportunity to get in, and I'm always looking for pioneers, and DraftKings is one of them, especially trading publicly on the stock market. So I bought it at 35 back in October. It's doubled since then. So it's definitely been a great investment that I'm going to hold for a while.
Are there any other sports betting? Are there any other sports betting stocks you're looking at? I know, as you know me, I like to look at the ETFs. I found a couple pretty cool ETFs I might jump on. What about you?
The main one that I would like to discuss would be BETZ. That is a great ETF ticker to look into. It includes DraftKings and Penn National Gaming as their top holdings. So I would definitely recommend, looking into it, or suggesting, not recommending buying it, but, taking a look and seeing what you think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we always got to make that disclaimer. Neither yours truly, Angie Ange, or Adrienne, we're not financial advisors, and we definitely recommend that you speak to financial advisors, speak to people who are licensed and who know, who can give you that guidance. We're just sharing our experience as investors. We've been investing out here as a family for some years. So, we've got some interesting stories to tell. And I think that in terms of growing as an investor, it's so important to hear from other people who are doing it or who have been doing it, who can really share experiences. And that's what we're doing right now. So sports betting is looking pretty good. I like BETZ. You said that's the ticker for the ETF, right?
Yes, that's the ticker for the ETF.
All right. Now, for people who don't know what an ETF is, because again, I know people hear me talk about it all the time. I prefer ETFs. I look at ETFs over individual stocks a lot of times because I like to invest in the industry of something, right? Because there are multiple stocks within these various industries. Sometimes it's good to get this little basket of stocks in one stock. Is that kind of how we would describe an ETF?
Absolutely. It's definitely a nice basket. It definitely is less volatile than if you held the individual stocks, or even the individual stocks that are within those ETFs. It's still, I think, a much more balanced position to be in, and can just kind of take some volatility off the table. So definitely, it's a big basket of stocks. Go
Yeah.
for it.
On the downside, for some of you who are more risky, like when DraftKings shoots up 50%, your ETF probably doesn't shoot up that fast. So that's the kind of like the trade-off is it's a little bit slower, but it gives you kind of a little more automatic diversification in a particular field. So that's why I like them, because I'm not in this big rush. I'm not in the gold rush, and I'm also not good at buying and just waiting it out. Like I'm always watching it and I get a little nervous. So sometimes ETFs just gives me a little more peace of mind. And for those who don't know what ETF stands for, what does it stand for?
It stands for Exchange Traded Funds.
Exchange traded funds. So look up ETFs and find some good ones. And if you know some, or you're already invested in some, or you're invested in certain stocks that deal with sports betting, definitely comment below and share so we could check it out. Might be something we want to add to the Stock Snoops newsletter. Again, stocksnoops.com. Subscribe today. Is free, and it's a weekly thing. We don't bombard you with a bunch of stuff, just give you really good information. Now, let's keep it moving to why I have my Baby Yoda shirt on and why you're looking very spacey and intergalactic, because you've been into the space for quite some time. Talk a little bit about what you're invested in the great beyond.
Oh yeah. So I'm all about, again, just looking for those future opportunities and things that may not seem too far off in the future. Space tourism has been in talks over the past year and a little further back. And so I'm invested in Virgin Galactic, which many of you have heard because it's been, pumped up and, people have been taking profits and it just keeps going up, up, up. The ticker is SPCE for Virgin Galactic. I actually entered that position last January, about $11 a share. And I've gotten over 300% total return on it so far. And I did take some profit off the table because I at least wanted to get my original investment back and with a little bit of profit on top of it. So I'm still in the position and I'm not looking to sell the rest of it for a while as well.
Do you think that bump is coming off of what Elon Musk is doing with his crew? Because he's SpaceX, right?
He's SpaceX, which is a private company right now. Yes. I think that
they're not trading on the market. I was trying to find them.
No, they do not publicly trade. And I'm not sure, he may or may not be looking to take that company public, but as of right now, it is private. It's definitely one of the big competitors with Virgin Galactic. And then another competitor, if you've heard Blue Origin from Jeff Bezos at Amazon, that's another just private company that's also a competitor in the space race for us to be able to, do space tourism someday. So that's another company that, is kind of moving the market as well.
So has Virgin Galactic, SPCE is the ticker on that. Have they sent anybody up, or where are they at? Have they done? Because I know with Elon Musk, he's sending stuff up there. Stuff is blowing up or whatever. I mean, so like where's Virgin Galactic in terms of trials and sending up spaceships or people even?
Well, Virgin Galactic has had, a number of scheduled test flights. And, so us investors, we're just waiting for them to finalize and actually take off with that next test flight, which I believe is now scheduled. I can't remember the date. I'd have to look it up, but that also bumped the stock up. So every time that they announce, hey, we have a test flight, in the works, the stock price goes up. And then when they have to pull back because of any kind of issues, like mechanical issues, because this is a very extremely sensitive, way to travel, space travel is very dangerous. And so they have to make it as safe as possible. So they can't send anybody up there unless, things are working properly. And if things aren't working properly at the time, they actually take the space flight off the table, the test flight. So we're just waiting to see when that test flight's actually going to happen. And, Richard Branson himself, who owns Virgin Galactic, he is the guy who's going up. He's going to risk his life, for the future of space tourism. So when that can happen, that's when I expect that stock to really, go even further, especially if it's a successful test flight. So that's what we're waiting on right now.
Got you. Well, from sports betting and beyond, we're signing off Money Making Mondays. Andy, be an informed investor. Go ahead and subscribe to our newsletter, Stock Snoops. You just got to go to stocksnoops.com, put your email in, and you'll hear from us on Mondays. Adrian, thank you again for checking in and giving us your insights. I'm going to let you have the little space stocks. I don't think I'm going to jump over there, but definitely with the sports betting between DraftKings and BETZ, I'm definitely feeling like that might be a little more my speed, my vibe.
That sounds good. But I'll tell you one thing very quickly before we go. If you don't want to take a chance on Virgin Galactic, you can invest in the ETF, which is UFO, which also includes, other companies like Sirius XM Holdings. So there's an opportunity to still invest in that space, in the space and satellite industry with UFO ticker. So
Okay, well, maybe I'll check that out as well. You just went on mute. But anyway, that's Adrian, co-founder of Stock Snoops. Angie we signing off. It's Money Making Monday. Go get your money. And again, remember, we're not licensed to be giving you information in terms of or giving you advice. So what you're getting from us is information and us sharing our experiences with you. And we encourage you to do the same. The beauty of our newsletters, we have a little short survey that you can take, and you can give us feedback. You can tell us what other things you're interested in, or you could just share some tips that you might have that have worked well for you. So between questions, tips, sharing your own personal experiences, we'd love to highlight you. Let us know what you're invested in. Let us know what you're interested in, what you want to know more about, and what you need help with, because it's always good to share resources and information, because we know that information is power. All right. It's Hot 96.3, Angie Money Making Mondays. We out to sports betting and beyond. No, maybe. Okay. All right, cool. All right.